Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you. Uh, in this series, I call it in all my videos as Dhurandhar series, correct? So, we have been learning various concepts, correct, of polity. We have learned about constitution, fundamental rights, DPSP, every state judiciary, central judiciary, everything we have learned about, right? Today, let us learn something about the emergency provisions of the Indian Constitution. Emergency provisions. So, the name itself tells these provisions are applicable in emergency. At your house, whenever there's an emergency, the normal functioning of the house changes, correct? So, the normal functioning it changes and it becomes a centralized kind of working, correct? There is a set of procedure you do, correct? So, the same way our constitution works and the functioning of the state and the central executive changes during an emergency. Okay. From where we have taken the emergency provisions? We have taken the emergency provisions from Weimar Constitution. We have taken the emergency provisions from the Weimar Constitution. Okay. Which are the articles dealing with it? So, Articles 352 to 360 deal exclusively with emergency provisions of India. Okay. So buckle up, let's start, let's dive deeper into it. The Republic of India stands on four pillars, correct? Just for our better understanding, let us see. The first pillar is the democratic and political system. The democratic and political system. The second is the constitution itself. The constitution holds the second pillar. Third pillar is the financial stability. We have to be stable financially, correct? Which these days is a bit turbulent because of the US, Iran, and world energy crisis. And fourth is sovereignty, unity, integrity, and security of India. Okay, so these are the four pillars. When any one of them or more than one of them ruptures, the emergency provisions come into picture. Correct? Now, when existing mechanisms fail, activates emergency provisions. Now, what are the administrative mechanisms? What are the articles? Correct? So, the articles for national emergency is 352. So, if anyone asks that, how can you tell that the article, which article carries the provisions on national emergency? So, you will tell them that, sir, it is 352. Article 356 deals with state emergency, exactly. Or we can call it as President's Rule. And Article 360 deals with financial emergency. A very easy to remember, always 352. Am I right? This is national emergency. Okay. Do nothing, just add 4 to it. It becomes 356. This is state emergency or President's Rule. Correct? Plus 4, 360, financial emergency. So easy. Plus 4, plus 4. You just need to remember 352. If you remember 352, you can automatically remember 356 and 360. Okay. So these are about the articles. Now, what is more about it? Let's dive even deeper now. First, let us talk about national emergency, how it is triggered. The national emergency can be triggered in three ways. Okay, what are these three ways? First is a war, which is called as external emergency. Okay, a war. Uh, Sometimes the president can declare national emergency even based on threat. So not just starting of war, just before war also president can declare emergency. Second is external aggression. Now, sir, what is the difference between war and external aggression? Aggression is an escalation of tension, maybe attacks, but not at a war scale, at a minor scale. But still, it is aggression. There might be some firing, there might be some attack, small attack, conflict. So, war is different, external aggression is different. And the third one is internal emergency or armed rebellion. Armed rebellion inside India, not outside. So these two deal with outside. These two deal with outside, and this deals with inside India. Correct? This is inside. The 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978, it replaced the original term internal disturbance with the more specific and measurable armed rebellion. So before 44th Amendment Act, this term armed rebellion was not there. Only term which was there was internal disturbance. But sir, why to change it? Sir, what's the logic behind this? The logic behind this is they changed it internal disturbance, because internal disturbance can mean anything, no? Even a riot can be a hartal, or maybe a violent clash between two groups might term to internal disturbance. So that is why they changed it to armed rebellion. So if some group or some people are rebelling with arms and there is firing, so that can be termed for a national emergency. This is how national emergency triggers 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Also, do you remember what else 44th Constitutional Amendment Act did? Do you remember? It did something related to a fundamental right. Do put in comments. I have given a hint. In 44th Constitutional Amendment Act, something happened, changed in fundamental rights. Okay? Do let me know in comments. Next. Now, how the machinery or the train to emergency starts. First is day zero. Day zero, what happens? President's proclamation of national emergency comes into picture. Okay, comes into picture means it is declared. President's proclamation is declared that okay, there will be a national emergency. Then there is a 1 month window. Within 1 month, within day 30, both the houses of parliament must ratify it. Must ratify. If Lok Sabha is dissolved, it must be approved within 30 days from the first sitting of the newly Lok Sabha. So suppose it came when there is no Lok Sabha, correct? It might be possible, no, that after a dissolution of the old Lok Sabha, the proclamation came. In that case, within 30 days of the first sitting of the newly elected Lok Sabha. Okay, then it comes into the picture, the emergency starts. 6 months standard operation duration is 6 months. Okay, after 6 months, any two things will happen. Either the revocation triggers, means now the emergency has to be removed. So president will issue a new proclamation at any time. Correct? He will adopt a resolution by simple majority rejecting continuation. ठीक है. Now enough tummy full. Now emergency is not required. So president will issue a notification after 6 months and continuation will stop. Indefinite extension. Either I told you it will be revocation or it will be indefinite extension. So it can be extended indefinitely. There is no limit to national emergency. But the special majority has to be given after every 6 months. So please remember when the proclamation was this thing being done, there was a majority required, and now special majority will be required after every 6 months to continue the emergency. So once only 6 months frame is given for national emergency. Okay. Okay, let's go ahead. Please remember these. They are very important terms. 6 months, 30 days, correct? They can be asked directly. They are facts, factual things. So please remember them. Now, what happens during a national emergency? Correct? The center state relations, the center state relations undergoes a fundamental transformation. Now, what do I mean by this? Let's distributed into three parts. The executive. So the central executive authority expands to advise any state on the exercise of its executive authority. The center's executive, it becomes an umbrella thing for other state executives to advise on any state related matters. Okay. Next, legislatively, Parliament gains the absolute authority to enact laws on any item included in state list. So Parliament will gain absolute authority. It can enact anything on any item in any list, especially the state list. Okay. Financially, President gains the authority to scale back or entirely stop the distribution of funds from central government to the state. Imagine what a strong provision this is. The President can scale back or stop the entire distribution of funds to the states. This is why we call our constitution to have a unitary bias. This is why. This is why. These are number one, two, three. Correct? National emergency. So the union government becomes heavier, more powerful than the state government. We can say absolute powerful. Okay? So impact on legislative life. During the emergency, the Lok Sabha and the state assembly terms may be prolonged by parliament up to 1 year at a time. So for 1 year at a time, the houses can be extended and valid up to 6 months after the emergency ends. So once the emergency ends, that will be valid up to 6 months. Okay, please remember this. Executive, legislative, and financial relations. How the relations goes under a fundamental transformation. Okay, let us go ahead. National emergency fundamentally alters the fundamental rights also. How? Article 358 talks about suspension of Article 19. Now, what does it say? It says that the six fundamental rights under Article 19 are immediately and automatically suspended upon proclamation. No separate court order is required. What do I mean by this? Suppose today the president declares with a proclamation that there will be a national emergency. Okay, the parliament approves it, ratifies it with the majority, and it comes into action. So from today itself, automatically Article 19 will stay suspended. There are six fundamental rights in Article 19. Now, in comments, please tell me what are these six rights. Correct? Please tell in comments what are these six rights. So, automatically, there is a lock put on your fundamental rights whenever national emergency comes in. Okay? In Article 359, the delayed lock. It was the immediate lock. 358 is immediately it is into uh, restriction. But 359 says suspension of enforcement. Now, what do we mean by this? This difference is important. 350 will immediately suspend, but 359 will not immediately suspend. What it will do? The fundamental rights themselves are not suspended. Rather, the president is authorized to suspend the right to petition any court for their enforcement. Means my rights will be there, but the president might or will stop the enforcement of that fundamental right is stopped. The right is still there. Right is not suspended. Only the enforcement is delayed. Only the enforcement is delayed. Okay, this is the difference. Only the enforcement is delayed. Usually, candidates find it tough, to differentiate between Article 358 and Article 359. In many exams, this has been a mains question also. So you should know in Article 15, just remember it's not 15, 358, it is an immediate law. It will immediately suspend all the articles. Forget about going for petition in the court. 359, rights will be there. You may go to court. You might file suit also, but the president can stop you. So this is a delayed law. Please remember this. I hope this clarification helped you. Okay, let us go ahead. And in the end of this session, I'll tell you some 2, 3 amazing facts about emergency. Okay, at the end of this session. So please watch it till end. Don't miss these facts. Okay. Now comes the second one, which is called as President's Rule or State Emergency. President rule is imposed when a state's constitutional machinery breaks down. When a state's constitutional machinery breaks down. What do we mean by this? Let us have a look. Article 356 says that the president is satisfied when the president is satisfied that a situation has arisen where the state government cannot be carried out in conformity with the provisions of constitutions, then this article comes into picture. This is called as failure of constitutional machinery. Correct? The second part. This is the first provision. Now, what is the second provision? Article 365 says that compliance failure can also be a failure of constitutional machinery. How? A state flatly or straightly refuses to comply with any administrative or executive directive given by the center. So, if a state refuses that no, we will not follow this, we will not implement, ratify, execute anything, then that is termed as a compliance failure and it can be seen under the purview of failure of constitutional machinery. And then president rules comes into picture. How it will come into picture? We will have a look. So one amazing fact is right here. Okay, I told you I'll be telling you some amazing facts. So one is right here. Chhattisgarh and Telangana. These are the only two states till date which have not been subject to president rule so far. Out of 28 states, only two are there. Till today, there has been no president rule there. Rest, all other states have seen president rule one or the other time. Okay, so this is an amazing fact, right? This can also be asked in your statement problems. Let us go ahead. Under president's rule, under president's rule, state powers are absorbed directly by union representatives. Okay, directly by union representatives. Now, how does it work? President's proclamation comes, correct? First, the governor goes with the recommendation to the president for applying state emergency. President's proclamation comes. It is approved by both the houses of parliament within 2 months. Please remember, in national emergency, it was 1 month. Do you remember? In national emergency, it was 1 month. In state emergency, it is 2 months. It has to be passed via a simple majority. Okay. Now, what happens to the state's powers? The executive power, the governor carries on the administration on behalf of the president. So he will utilize the state's chief secretary and other appointed advisors, and he will become the executive head. It will not be chief minister anymore. The state's executive real head will be the governor. For legislative power, parliament will come into picture and parliament will declare state legislature's power that will come directly to the parliament. So keep in mind, executive power, governor, legislative power, parliament. Okay, let us go ahead. Now coming to the third emergency, that is Article 360 or financial emergency. It acts as the ultimate safeguard against severe economic instability. God's, we can say fortunately, touch wood, till date, this situation has not arisen. Okay, this situation did not arise till now. So, till date, there has been no financial emergency imposed in India. Okay, so what are the ground for proclamation for a financial emergency? There are four grounds. The president is empowered to proclaim a financial emergency if he's sure, he's satisfied that a situation has arisen that overall financial stability of India is being threatened. Arisen threatening the overall financial stability of India. Overall financial stability of this point is repeated by mistake. The credit of India or any specific part of its territory. Okay, so these two situations, these two are the ground for proclamation. First, the overall financial stability of India. Second, the credit of India or any specific part of its territory. Please remember this. It has been asked in many exams. Approval, again, must be approved by Parliament within 2 months. So please remember, for national emergency, it is 1 month. For state and financial emergency, it is 2 months. Okay, via a simple majority. For proclamation, it is always simple majority. Okay, I hope we are clear till here with some in-depth analysis for national emergency, state emergency, financial emergency. A financial emergency operates indefinitely. Please, this is important, indefinitely without requiring repeated parliamentary consent. Remember, we told that after every 6 months there has to be an approval. For financial emergency, no such approval is required. Once financial emergency approved, the emergency lasts indefinitely until explicitly cancelled. No need to again and again approve it. Correct? Directly contrasts the 6 month approval loop of Article 352. There is no repeated checks. Parliamentary permission is not required repeatedly for it to continue. Correct? And how the financial emergency will be withdrawn or revoked? The president may declare the emergency over at any time by issuing a new proclamation. This revocation requires zero parliamentary approval. So please remember, financial emergency, president will declare with simple majority, but at the time of revocation, only president by just one order, or you can say ordinance, he'll revoke the emergency. No parliamentary approval is required. These are some of the very important points, nuances which you can tell that they are very important in examination point of view for us. Okay, okay. Let us go ahead. So we have been seeing, correct, some more features. Let us see. The union assumes total operation control, correct? So the union will assume the total operation control over the financial affairs of the state. The executive expansion, I told you, executive expansion, it will be union's executive power directly on it. All money bills, financial bills passed by the state legislature are strictly reserved for the president's approval. Remember, all money bills and financial bills, not selected ones, not governors recommended ones, all. State level, so mandated reduction in the pay will come, benefits received by all or certain specific classes of state government employees, correct? And under presidential directive, salaries and benefits are reduced for any class of union employees, explicitly including Supreme Court and High Court judge. So please remember, Supreme Court and High Court judge, they are included. Okay, let us go ahead. So I've brought a matrix for you. Okay, just pay attention. You can take a screenshot. Please learn this. It is a conclusive matrix. It says about the national emergency, president rule, and financial emergency, what constitution articles the three deal with, grounds for declaration, parliamentary approval, required majority, and maximum duration checks. Now, what are the some nuances here? Nuances are the national emergency will require a special majority for approval. Okay, but these two will require a s- simple majority. But for revocation, all of them are simple majority. Okay, for revocation, the president will revoke it. The president will do for financial emergency. Okay, so please remember the national emergency, it will be requiring a 6 month approval. After every 6 months, it needs an approval. Okay, please remember the grounds: war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. For president rule, it is failure of constitutional machinery, and financial emergency, threat to financial stability and credit. Supreme Court and High Court judges' salaries can be uh, cut in case of an emergency. Please take care. Okay. So we have covered almost all the topics In national emergency, we have seen the pillars, we have seen the conditions, how they operate, what are the difference between 358 article and 359. We have seen about president's rule. Then we saw about financial emergency, correct? So now let us solve some 20 high yielding questions which are very likely to come into your exam. Okay, just diligently solve them. The right side will be the question, the left side will be the right answers. Don't look at the answers. First, try it yourself and then check for the right answers. Okay, let us go with the questions. First question: which part of the Indian Constitution deals with emergency provisions? So tell me, which part deals with the emergency provisions? Any idea? So, C is the correct answer. Correct? Part 18 deals with emergency provisions. Next, how many types of emergencies are provided in the Constitution? So, very easy questions, no? I call very easy questions as lassi questions. Correct? And tough questions as black coffee. So this is a very easy lassi question. How many types? There are three types. Okay. It's national emergency, state president rule, and financial emergency. Correct? Easy, simple. Let us go ahead. Question number three. National emergency under Article 352 can be declared on which grounds? National emergency under Article 32 on which grounds? External aggression only, armed rebellion only, war, external aggression or armed rebellion, or internal disturbance only. So, if you have seen this video, well and good. If you have not seen, please go back and see this video again. I have explained. Answer C is correct. It is on three terms. Either it will be war, external aggression, or armed rebellion. Please remember 44th Amendment Act, correct? It replaced internal disturbance. Question 4. Which constitutional amendment replaced the term internal disturbance with armed rebellion? Just now we talked about it. Just now. I forgot that there is a question on this. Correct? So it is 44th Amendment Act. It came in 1978. It tightened the grounds for emergency. Now this two amendments, no, 42nd and 44th. How to remember their years? Very important. 1970 and 1970 dash dash. So 42nd amendment, 42nd 4 plus 2, 42nd 6, 1976. 44th amendment 4 plus 4 8, 1978. Very easy to remember. 4 plus 2, 6, 1976. 4 plus 4, 8, 1978. It tightened the ground for emergency and it replaced the word. Okay. Fifth question. Who declares a national emergency in India? Who declares? So it is the president only who can declare. He is the only constitutional authority to officially proclaim a national emergency. Okay. It is subsequently passed by the parliament. Okay. Next. The written recommendation of which body is necessary before proclaiming national emergency? Very good question. The written recommendation of which body is required? It is the Union Cabinet. Okay, so the president cannot act solely on the prime minister advice. Once this has happened, okay, during Indira Gandhi, when she was the prime minister, she did this. She had applied an emergency based on the advice of the union cabinet, but then after that it came that it should be on the written advice, written recommendation. 44th amendment act made it mandatory for written advice. Please remember this is a very important part. Okay, so the union cabinet will give it a written advice to prime president, and then this will come into picture. Okay, within how many days must parliament approve a national emergency proclamation? Please take care, it is national emergency. So it will be how many days? 1 month. If you ever get confused between national emergency and state emergency, so always remember nation is important. So the things have to be done faster, right? So that's why it was being given 1 month. And that's why in 2 months it state emergency. Okay. So proclamation declared and approval by houses. This has to be done within 1 month. Correct? 1 month window. Next. Once approved, a national emergency remains in force for How much time? We have already talked about it, right? So it remains in force for 6 months. The emergency continues for 6 months at a time and requires repeated parliamentary approval. Okay, chalo. Next. Fundamental rights under which article are automatically suspended? Automatically suspended during national emergency. Immediate lock. We saw no the delayed lock and immediate lock. Article 358. Remember? So Article 19 gets immediately suspended, but only if the emergency is declared on grounds of war or external aggression. Please, this is a very important point. Pay attention. When national emergency is imposed, Article 19 is automatically suspended, but only in two scenarios, not the third one. So, in case of armed rebellion, no, Article 19 will be into force. But if it is war or external aggression, Article 19 is immediately suspended. Next, which fundamental rights can never be suspended during an emergency? See, such an important question. They can never be suspended. 14, 19, 20, 21, 15, 16, or 29, 30. So it is Article 20 and 21. So thanks to 44th Amendment. See, 44th Amendment is so important from emergency point of view, right? The right to protection in respect of conviction for offences and the right to life and personal liberty, they remain protected in any scenario. In any scenario, these two rights will be protected. Correct? So please remember Article 358 suspends Article 19 immediately. Article 359 stops the petitioning of 19. Correct? The enforcement is delayed, not suspended. And 20 and 21 will never be suspended, even during emergency. President's rule in a state is imposed under which article? I told you 352 plus 4, 360. So the answer is 360. Okay. Sorry, 352 plus 4, 356. Oh my God. Silly mistakes. So 356 is the answer. 356 is triggered by the failure of constitutional machinery within a specific state, shifting governance directly to the president. But will the president directly come and rule there? No. Who will rule? The governor will rule. The executive part will be taken care by the governor. Okay, so please take care here. Don't do such addition mistakes. Okay, 352 plus 4, 356. 356 plus 4, 360. Okay, next. Which of the following is popularly known as state emergency? So, obviously, it is the president's rule under Article 356. Okay, we have already discussed about it. Next, maximum duration of president's rule in a state can be. What is the maximum duration? Every 6 months it needs approval. Correct? President rule requires parliamentary approval for every 6 months. But till when? Till 3 years. It can be imposed for maximum and it cannot exceed a maximum of 3 years. For the president rule requires parliamentary approval every 6 months. However, it cannot exceed 3 years. Please remember this. 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, 6 months, like this, it can be done up to 5 times. Okay. Next, 6 times. Sorry, it can be done up to 6 times. Financial emergency is mentioned under which article? 360. Okay, it completes the emergency triad, providing union government with extraordinary powers to manage economic crisis. Which article empowers the president to suspend the right to move to courts for enforcement of fundamental rights? This is a very important question, conceptual question. Now it is not asking that suspension of fundamental rights. It is saying the right to move courts for enforcement. So which article is that? It is Article 359. Okay. Under 358, 19 article is suspended automatically. But under 359, it gives the president specific power to suspend the right of citizen to approach the courts for enforcement. Okay. Easy. Financial emergency can be declared if President rules fails, financial stability of credit of India is threatened, Parliament dissolves or judiciary demands it. Very easy, lassi options, huh? So the president may invoke Article 360 if there is a severe threat to financial stability or the credit of India or any part of its territory. So imagine if any part of the territory is also under crisis, still financial emergency can be imposed. It need not be complete India. So this is how beautifully the things are worded in the constitution, correct? How many times has the financial emergency been declared in India till now? So how many times do you think it has been declared till now? Zero. Zero. Never. Till now, there has been nothing called as financial emergency being invoked in India. The other two emergencies have been definitely invoked in India multiple times. The first national emergency in India was declared in. So tell me, when the first national emergency was declared? So it was declared in 1962. Okay, during Indo-China War. It remained in force until 1968. Okay, remember, I'll tell one or two few amazing facts about it. Okay, next. The emergency declared in 1975 is considered controversial because it was imposed on grounds of, see, such an important thing. It was controversial because it was imposed on which grounds? Internal disturbance. It was imposed by Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1975, claiming internal disturbance. That's why the 44th Amendment came into picture and it termed it as armed rebellion. Armed rebellion. Okay. When did it come? 1978. Okay. So please remember this part. Very, very important. Okay. Next. Consider the following statements. National emergency affects the federal structure. National emergency affects the federal structure. During President's rule, the state legislative assembly may be dissolved. Financial emergency has been declared once in India. So, what do you think? Now, see, I have brought this statement problem because again and again it is coming in various exams. Now, it has been started coming in SSC and RRB exams also. And in one question, I have included all three of them. So, national emergency affects the federal structure. Yes, obviously it does. During President's rule, the state legislative assembly may be dissolved or suspended. Yes, it can be. It is always suspended. Okay. Financial emergency, never it has been imposed. So the correct answer is A. Okay. The power heavily centralizes, altering the federal balance, and the state assembly loses its power. The parliament takes up all the power with the state. Okay. So these were some of the important questions which we saw, correct? This is a constitutional blueprint matrix I have brought for you, correct? First declared in 1962 national emergency, president rule. Uh, so the amazing fact comes here now, okay? First amazing fact is, till now, there have been three national emergencies in India. Three. 1962, 1975, and 1971. Indo-Pakistan, that is Bangladesh Liberation War, India-China War, and 1970. So only three times we have national emergency in India. Okay. Now, how many times president rule has been imposed in India? Any idea? Almost 134 times. And only Telangana and Chhattisgarh are the states where it hasn't been imposed till now. Okay, and obviously financial emergency has never been declared. Absolute immunity, always remember, it has been given to Article 20 and Article 21 of the Constitution. So see, 134 times, almost every state. Now, do you know which state has got the maximum amount of, you can say, president rules? Now, here is the third amazing fact. So let us see which are the top three. First is Manipur. Manipur, 11 times. Manipur has got 11 times the imposition of president rule. Correct? Then which is the second one? Any idea? Second is Uttar Pradesh, 10 times. And third is Bihar, 9 times. So these are the toppers. Correct, no? All India rank 1, 2, 3. Manipur, first 11 times. UP, second 10 times. And Bihar, 9 times. Okay? Longest duration of a president rule has been in Jammu and Kashmir. Longest duration of a president rule has been in Jammu and Kashmir. That is almost till 12 years. 12 years. Okay. So this was all about emergency in India. We saw all the emergencies. We have practiced some high yielding MCQs. I'm sure if you practice these questions again, you will not do any question wrong. And here I was with some amazing facts about emergencies. We'll meet in the next class. Do leave your comments how much you like the session. Oliveboard and the team is here with you for all the important knowledge required for exam. Okay, we'll meet very soon with next topic. Thank you and have a nice day.